but I really take time to just focus on me. It might not be a lot of time, but it's time
Yes.
because I want to be able to be there for the people that need me when they need me.
Hello, and welcome back to Love Speaks. I am your host, Francois, and we are so excited that you decided to join us for another episode. Hey, guess what? It's still June. And because it's June, one of the things that we celebrate in the month of June is fathers. Happy Father's Day to all of the great fathers and dads and stepdads and father figures. I just want to let you know that you are valuable and you are important. Now, personally, I am an advocate for men and strong men and great fathers. One thing that I realized, there has been generations where we did not properly celebrate fathers and good fathers. We do an excellent job celebrating mothers and our wonderful females, and they deserve to be celebrated, but we don't do as great of a job to celebrate fathers. So here on Love Speaks, during this month, we're going to make sure we want every father to know that we celebrate you for being a great dad, doing a great job with your sons and your daughters. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to tip your hat and to take a bow, and we celebrate you. You're a part of our community. You're a pillar. Your presence make a divine difference. I also want to just stop and just give a shout out and say thank you. Thank you. Thank you to those of you who are fathers to your own biological children. Thank you to those who are fathers to children in your neighborhood, your nephews, your nieces. Thank you for being just an awesome dad, godfathers, grandfathers, uncles, all of you who play key roles, spiritual fathers, godfathers, all the daddies. We just want to celebrate you and tell you we appreciate you and we value you. Well, today on this show, I am here with a great, awesome, magnificent father, grandfather, godfather, spiritual father. I mean, any part of fatherhood that there is, this man is a part of that community. He's a sincere community man, and he is my brother, my good friend, Eric Snell. Welcome to Love Speaks, my brother.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so grateful for you to be with us. One thing that I've always admired about you is just your state and your role as a father. You always, absolutely always take that role seriously. I know you have adopted so many children around you, plus your own biological children. What is your definition of a father?
Well, I believe a father is the covering. Father protects, he provides, he guides, he molds, and so I model what God is to us, and I use that to be a father to the children that God has allowed me to father, and so my thing is the father is the headship, and he has to have the ability to be accountable to his children, his family. And so I don't tell my children to do things that I wouldn't do. Yeah. So I just think that a father is someone that is supposed to be well respected, not so much because of what they say and the fear that they put in their children, but because of their actions. That's what I believe a father is, the covering, and with that you'll find that your children most likely will want what they see in you when they grow up. The males may want to be like you, and the females may want a husband like you. And so that's my view on what a father is.
Real good.
Yeah.
And for me as well, when I think about that, that's the definition you have of a father. Um, the question that comes to mind is what standard should we go by? And I ask that question simply because you'll have different people give different definitions of what is, which can easily tear down a potentially good father, a potentially good man, because in whoever eyes it is, they're not coming up to the mark.
Yes.
So by what standard should we really, just to encourage other fathers who are out there who could be the role model, could be the head, but if they constantly have somebody in their ear trying to tell them who they're not,
Yes.
what standard should they have on the inside of them that says, hey, I'm a father and I'm a good father. It doesn't matter altogether what you say or do.
I think that the standard should be you put your children lives over yours. So if you won't go and buy nice clothes if your children don't have clothes on their backs. You know, you won't be at a restaurant eating with your friends or a companion if your children at home hungry. And so my standard is that you would do whatever it takes to make sure you provide and that you also, you know, interject the love that is necessary because a good father knows how to show compassion. He knows how to be intimate with his children. You know, it's some parents they say I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. But you have to have a thin line where your children can feel like they can come to you in a friendship way without losing the respect as a parent. But I think that if you show love, and what love is as we always say, an action word. And so that means that I'm going to do things to prove that I love you. That's the standard for me. Just that I want to grow up with a house full of love, and I want my children to love me even when they don't like me.
Absolutely.
So yes.
And I love it. And another thing I want to say, oftentimes I've heard it said that I grew up in a house with a dad where my dad never said I love you, but I've always felt the love. They never said I love you, and that comes from just that generational. If I can listen to some of my uncles or great uncles talk about their fatherhood and growing up as a child, that would be the reoccurring theme. My daddy never said it, but I know I felt it. What do you think is the importance of actually verbalizing, hey, I love you?
I think it's very important because it will, if you're talking about the generations before us, they were very hard men.
Yes.
And they had to be.
Yeah.
And now we have come to understanding that we needed that validation. We needed to hear that you love us. And so for me, it's nothing for it to roll off my tongue to my children. And I want that to be something that is not foreign to them.
Exactly.
Because when you give something, you want to receive it.
Yeah.
You want it replicated. So if I'm telling you I love you, I don't want you to look at me like, what you talking about? I want you to tell me you love me back, and it feels genuine. So I think it's very important that we have that line of communication where we teach our children how to express themselves, not just I love you because I bought you something.
Exactly.
I love you because the deeds I've done, but I love you and you hear it.
Exactly.
And if you have a spouse, sometimes you got to let them know you love them,
That's right.
because if you don't, they're going to start questioning, do you love me? And so, same way with children, I think that we have to verbalize how we feel about them so that it is something that someone can't come behind you and put a bug or anything in them that'll make them feel any different because no, I've heard it and I see it.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I think we should always be open and verbal with speaking to our children and how we feel about them.
I 1000% agree. And we do try, I try to make that, normalize that in our household. We with my sons, it's always a I love you. My oldest son is nonverbal, but even if I happen to have the opportunity to make sure he gets on the school bus, by the time he get on the school bus, I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm looking through the window. Yeah, I love you. I love you. And I need you to say that back to me. And we normalize
Right.
that in our house. So it's not a strange thing for me to hug my sons.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. You don't want it to be strange. And
Exactly.
another thing is, it's sometimes where you still put that masculinity on it.
Exactly.
you know, I don't know. If
Want you to feel my strength.
Exactly. I don't, so you don't do it the same way you may do it for your daughters with your sons, but it's still, the hug, the embrace still has to be the same. But you may use different wording after you say I love you, I love you, youngin, I love you, son,
I love you, man. I 1000% agree. And because you have an advantage that I don't necessarily have too, because I'm a boy dad.
Okay.
I'm a boy dad. I just have two sons. You a boy dad too, but you a girl dad. Your oldest is the son,
Yes.
and then you have girls. So,
Yes.
what type of father you have to be? Because I don't know. If I had young ladies, ooh, Jesus, I just don't know.
I want to be very transparent with this. And I remember my oldest biological son, he was around 15. And I got a phone call that he was, having an interest in a female. And so my reply was, you're not ready for that. And most men, they push the male to go out there and hunt.
Exactly.
But when they have females, they want them to be in the house.
Exactly.
And so I had to understand that if at 15 I'm encouraging him to do these things, when my daughter gets 15, she's going to expect the same encouragement. And so I had to, draw a line that what is good for one is good for all.
Oh, good.
And so I raised them like that. I raised them, to the same way. If you can't do it just because you're a male, you can't do it just because you're a female. It is very sensitive when you're dealing with them too, because I believe mothers are more, fragile with their sons.
Okay. Yeah.
They treat them like, their babies. And fathers treat their daughters like their babies.
Absolutely.
And so what I had to do is consciously always think about, be a little hard with the boys, but don't be so hard that they feel like they got to run to mama.
Exactly.
So,
I like that. Now that's good parenting advice.
yeah. So, and with my girls, man, I mean, to this day, my girls still fight to see who's going to. Well, the last, two of them, they still fight to see who's going to sit by me at the restaurant.
I love it.
When we go out, they embrace by holding my hand. Sometimes my wife will be on one hand and one of my daughters is on the other hand. So even to this day, they're all grown.
Yeah.
So and my boys, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
I talk with them. I'll pull them in, and I learned this from my father. I'll pull them in the room and just, hey, what's going on with you? Is everything okay? I check on them,
Exactly.
and so it's equal with the phone calls. You know, my girls call me, my boys call me just as much.
Wow.
So it's equal, and I pride myself. I'm going to be kind of transparent
Yeah.
again with this. My youngest daughter went through a trying time in her life, and I had to put her in counseling. And we were in counseling, and you know, the counselor, I was correcting her because of my belief in the Lord. I believe certain things, and the counselor said something to me. She said, "You know, there's nothing like a mother's hurt. Mothers hurt more than fathers." And my daughter was in the room, and when she said this, I said, "I don't know if you're the right counselor for us because her mother does not hurt more than me. If anything, it's equal
Yeah.
because I'm going to give my right arm for her, and I know for sure I would do it.
Exactly.
You know, you can ask the mother if she's going to do it. So there's no difference in hurt.
Exactly.
There's no difference in a mother's love and a father's love when you truly are a father.
Exactly.
It's the same. And so for me, that's how I deal with my children. I deal with them on individual levels, but I deal with them on our relationship is separate from anybody else's.
Yeah.
You can love your mother, your grandmother, your uncles, but our relationship is going to be our relationship.
Exactly.
And so for me, I don't subscribe to a mother's love. No, if you're a parent, it's a parent's love. So I know I'm gonna get a little slack with women about that, but
And I
I don't
believe what
believe
it
in that.
is dealing with emotional intelligence because on average, it is as if men are not permitted to be emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
That's only for
So-
quote unquote feminine
Yes.
energy. However, there are a lot of men
Mm-hmm.
who have the same amount of emotions,
Yes.
but we're not allowed to express them unless it comes across as anger.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's like, oh yeah, that's mess with them. But the reality is, and then there's some men, and this we can't put them all in the same category. Some have not learned how to do it.
Yes.
They haven't learned because it just seems like it's taboo. It's something that you don't do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't show emotions. You don't hug. You don't, and so you always have to act like you're not bothered
Yes.
and act like you don't care.
Yes.
And the reality is, we live in a new state now. We live in a new place where men are not just out hunting and out there in the field. They're closer to home.
Yes.
They're with their children. So there was a time where, and I can remember hearing my great grandma. Thank God I'm fortunate enough to have had my grandmother in my life, my great grandmother in my life, my mother, and just to sit down and hear my great grandmother talk. And she said, you know, long and then she said a lot of men weren't in the house because there was no work here. So men had to travel away for work. And it was the woman's responsibility at that time to create an atmosphere of genuine respect. So when he did come back home from work, we honored and we respect him. So he wasn't there as often because he's either away in war, away trying to work. But nowadays it's a little different. We're closer to home now.
Yes.
And because we are closer to home, we get a chance to be hands-on father beyond being a provider.
Yes.
Beyond being a provider. So I call that emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So that's what we I'm bothered. We might be bothered differently, but I am affected. Fathers are affected just as much as mothers.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you learned from your? What else are some of the things that you learned from your father to help you as a father?
Spare the rod, spoil the child. No. No.
That's one of the things.
No, but seriously, yeah, that was one of the things. One of the things. My father would be the nicest man you want to meet. Just don't mess up too many times. So, I'm hard on my children. I'm very hard on them because I want them to be great.
Yeah.
But I'm hard and I'm gentle.
Yeah.
You know, my father would chastise us, and I know they don't do this nowadays, but we used to get what they call whippings.
Yes. Yes.
And before the whipping, he would talk to you, and
Uh-huh.
after the whipping, he would talk to you.
Exactly.
You know, and sometimes he would say, you know, I love you. Like you're not showing it right now. Like you know, but he was that type of man that he was very strict and he was hard on us, and I pat my fatherhood after that. Um, you know, and my father, I could go to him and talk to him about almost anything. Whereas some things I didn't want to go to my mama, you know, even though, you know, my mother, you know, is a strong foundation in my life. And I believe my children is like that now. I believe all of them will come to me in comfort
Yes.
because you know, I wasn't just hard, but I was gentle,
Yeah.
and I am gentle with them. You know, so I'm going to, you know, I'm going to correct them, but I'm also going to show them and tell them that I love them also. And so I think that, you know, a good father will have a balance to where, you know, I don't hold anything against my children. Once we address it, we don't address it anymore. We don't bring it up anymore. Whatever they go through, I'm going to help them get through it, and none of them will come and say, you know, my father throwed this back up in my face. Because again, as your earlier question, I model being a father after the father.
Exactly.
And so, whatever we do as children, once we are forgiven, he does not bring those things back up. I just use them as, you know, examples not to go down the same path
Exactly.
because you may have the same ending. But as far as to, you know, use it as a form of, you know, correction, I don't think you use faults after you have addressed them and after you have moved on from them as a form of correction. I think that just brings a stumbling block. It's just a reminder. And so I don't want to be reminded of my failures. And so for me, my father taught me how to move on. I remember early, I was a young man, you know, pastoring, and I made some decisions, you know, and my father called me, and I mean, he wailed into me. That phone was on fire. But I was already in a down state.
Exactly. Exactly.
I said to him, I said, you know, Pop, I'm still learning. And when I said that, he broke. And he apologized to me.
Wow.
Son, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, because there's things at our age that we expect our children to be doing,
Absolutely.
but they have not yet experienced what we experienced to get to where we are.
Exactly.
And so that is a big problem that we sometimes don't step back and realize that they are not there yet. They're still learning.
Absolutely.
And in this learning process, you have to use things to correct them, but to also let them know that you're human.
Yeah.
And so that's what I received, some those qualities from my father that showed compassion and showed that, you know, I understand you're gonna make mistakes, but don't stay there.
Yeah.
And what one of the things after that conversation that he used to tell me, because when you strive to be like the man that you consider to be your hero, you will beat yourself up on everything you do. And he used to say, son, don't beat yourself up.
Wow.
And that helped me out a lot. And so I teach my children that, you know, don't beat yourself up.
That's wonderful. That's again. That's the seem like the overwhelming theme that I'm hearing is like the emotionally mature man. Just having emotional intelligence. So that's phenomenal. And like you, I 1000% agree. And I've did the same thing with my sons. It's like I expect you to be better than me.
Yes.
I expect you to be better than me. Always do the best you can, and I expect you to be better than me.
Yes.
So, and then it's good that you actually have a father. You have a father that still can role model those things before you, even in your full adultness. And in your full adultness. My father passed away. I want to say I was 21 or 22 when my father passed away. So I didn't get a whole lot, and it was a lot of in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. But for the moments that he was there, I cherish those moments and I respect all those moments. How do you manage the responsibility of father, pastor, professional, husband? Because you all those things. Bro, how you manage all that?
I should be asking you that question. You the hardest working person I know. But I was taught this by my mentor, Lionel Nelson. He said, God first, family, then church. And so I prioritized my life like that. I remember growing up in church where children that went to church only went to school and church. They didn't go on family vacations and trips, and so when they were able to get out there, their eyes was wide open.
Exactly.
And so one of the things my father used to do is every summer he took us on a family vacation. And so when I became a father, every child that God had given me, I would do the same with them. Even if they were not my biological children, they came on trips with me. And so I have a balance where, I put things in perspective. If because I'm so close to my children, I'm so close to my wife, I can sense the need of Eric. Not who they call me, not who they know, Eric. And so there's been times, where many times I have just went on trips with a selected child. We going for 3 days, me and you, and spend time. My wife, we're not taking the children with us. We're going.
Absolutely.
And so I have to, stay conscious of when Eric is needed. Because before anything else, that's who I am, and so I balance it by making sure everyone that I hear the still voices, the soft voices, we haven't done this in a while. When you hear that, you don't want, you should keep ignoring that.
Exactly.
We haven't, if my wife, we used to maybe once a week, every 2 weeks, we went out. It's expensive now.
It is. It is.
You go out, it's like you pay the light bill.
I'm telling you, that's the truth.
But we still do those things. I still do those things with my children. I still cook and we sit around and eat together. Some houses everybody get their food and go in their separate rooms.
Exactly.
We still talk.
That's good.
We still do those things. And so that's how I balance it because I remain Eric.
And which is powerful because one of the things that we discover inside of especially the black church movement, the Bible says, I will make your name great. And we think that means our title. My name is apostle. No, that's not. It ain't on your birth certificate. My name is prophet. No, it's not. My name doctor. That's your degree. That's not your name.
Not your name.
And I think that's one of the reasons why you and I vibe so well, because I don't have to be any of the positions that I'm in. I can just be me.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we vibe just so well. And I love that that's a mantra for yourself, that you stay in tune with yourself. You don't get lost in your role. And I think that happens to a lot of fathers. You get lost in your role, and then you discourage your own self for being the best father you can be because you're not being the best you
Yes.
can be.
Yes.
And I think it's important to find that space, find that time where you can just be you. Your role is important in all the different arenas, and you have to create all those boundaries. So, give me an example of what you do for you. What do you do for you?
I buy myself things.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
I don't wait around, ask for nobody to do it. I buy myself things, or I'll go, to the spa. When you came up,
Exactly.
I say, brother, let's go. We gonna go get
Sure did.
massages, and I do self care.
Yeah.
I take care of myself. I spend time with me.
Yeah.
There used to be a period of time where I would take probably a half a day and just don't answer the phone. There was a time when I was doing, ministry really heavy, that I would take 2 days and just, go to myself for
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, you can't be burnt out because you're no good to the people that need you.
Absolutely.
I had this one TV set. I remember years ago I had this TV set, and it was a brand new big screen. It's when the plazas first came out,
Yeah.
so I'm outdating myself.
Uh-huh.
It was nice, and it was on the wall. And one day I came home. To this day, I think one of the children did it, but I have no evidence. But I came home, turned the TV on, and it had this line in the middle, like the TV was broke. And I was like, whoa, I just got this TV. This TV costs a lot of money. And I called and I called the manufacturer. The manufacturer told me that the TV was having that problem. They were aware of it, but there was no warranty. That they will only give me a rebate to buy another one. I was like, whoa, so all this money I just spent on this TV, it's no good. But the TV was so nice, I just let it sit there as decoration for about 2 months. For 2 months, I go home, I look at this TV. 2 months, it looks good as decoration,
Yeah.
but I can't use it. It's no good to nobody in the house.
Wow.
And I can't live like that,
Yeah.
where it looks good on the outside. Oh, they got a nice family.
Uh-huh.
But I'm no good to the people that need me when they need me.
Yeah.
And so I take time for myself. Like I said, I even go get my nails and feet done. I know a lot of men might, that might not be their thing, but I take time for myself, self-care. I'm big on hygiene, so that's why I do that. And but I really take time to just focus on me. It might not be a lot of time, but it's time.
Yes.
Because I want to be able to be there for the people that need me when they need me.
Exactly.
And not just be that TV.
Sitting on the wall looking
Yeah.
good but not useful at all. So take a note, fathers. If you're not good to you, you're not going to be good for anybody else. So it's not selfish. Taking a moment, especially if you already know you're not a selfish individual. If you already know that, there's no doubt in your mind. If you have to ask yourself, am I a selfish individual? We already know you're not. Because a real selfish individual don't care. They're like, nah, me first, me. But you can't be good for others when you're not good for yourself. So I mean, I'm with you, bro. I have to. I was telling myself that a good while back. I said I have to find me some more me time.
Yes, you have to.
Just to do me.
Yeah.
Just to do me.
Good fathers you find hang around each other.
Yeah.
I don't. You won't find a father that's an absentee father with one that is not.
Exactly.
You just won't feel comfortable around him.
What we got to talk about? I got my kids. You ain't got yours.
Yeah, where your children at? And so for me, I think that
Where them kids at? There.
Exactly. So for me, I believe that one of the things that you can learn is you can learn from each other.
Yes.
And so there's things that I have pulled from you, and hopefully vice versa.
Absolutely.
And so, I wouldn't be able to say that I am a great father without having been around great fathers.
Thank you, my brother.
Oh,
This
my
is an
pleasure.
honor to celebrate Father's Day with you. A few years ago, we actually went on a cruise.
Oh,
We
yes.
didn't even realize it was Father's Day. It was like, let's just go, and got on the cruise. It was like, oh, that was Father's Day weekend. All right, sorry y'all. Happy Father's Day to us. We out.
Me
See y'all
time.
later. That's how we gonna celebrate on Father's Day. So, but this is a pleasure being with you. So, happy Father's Day to all of the fathers. We celebrate you, and like my brother said, get you around some good fathers. This my dude.
Yes.
However, we don't talk every day. We don't talk all the time. But one thing he know, I have his back and he
Yes.
has my back. So find you somebody that you can actually connect with, glean from, and pour into. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. So next time that we're on live, you know where we at. So please join us again on Love Speaks. Thank you.